All right,
Michael
so
Hod, he's pretty cool.
we're going to go ahead and start here. So welcome to Unfinished Friday. We've got a smaller group today, but that's all right. We've got some awesome leaders, and we're gonna hear from Josh today, and how to not be terrible at leading. Is that what?
I think it was how to not be a crappy leader.
There you go. How to not be a crappy leader. I like it. I mean, it's just real, right? I think that's we can all relate to that because we've all done it at some point.
I had my
So yeah.
original title. My original title was going to be how to force your subordinates to respect you and do everything you tell them to. But I thought that was a little too clickbaity.
That's awesome.
Yes, that would go in the terrible leader, crappy leader.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, that would be bad. Hey there, Jason.
We got Jason.
Oh, look at that. He's all ready masked. He's gonna mask up here for us. So, all right. Well, hey, we're gonna get started. I've met Josh. Oh gosh, it's been a few months ago, as he was looking to do some networking and just a cool company that Josh is partnering with called Own It, and in the IT world. And so, but Josh is more of the leader. So he's not the technician. So don't ask him a bunch of questions about
I
technical
can't
problems.
fix your printer. I wish I could.
If you have any technical questions, you can ask John. So
Yeah, right.
so we're going to turn it over to Josh, and he's going to tell us how to not be a crappy, or how to not be a crappy leader. So take it away.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming to my Aaron Rude's Unfinished Fridays TED Talk. I'm Josh Floyd with OwnIt.help. We're an on-demand tech support service in Lincoln, Omaha, and Wichita, but that's not what I'm here to talk about today. I'm here to talk about how not to be a crappy leader. So there's two reasons that I feel qualified to talk about this. First reason being is I've had a lot of jobs and I've had a lot of bosses, especially in my younger days. And I've had really good bosses and I've had really bad bosses. The bad bosses ranging everywhere from the guy who was just never around, and if an issue came up, it was your problem, all the way from that to the opposite side of the spectrum with the guy that's always over your shoulder and is totally overbearing, is micromanaging everything you do. So I've learned a lot from those guys how I don't want to be a boss. And then the other reason I think that I'm qualified to talk about this is because I led a team of 20 to 40 people, depending on the time of year, at a moving company here in Lincoln. And I did that for over a decade. So, started off probably not the world's best boss, but eventually, I feel like I was very successful towards the end. I learned a lot, and I feel like I have the respect of my people. So I guess Malcolm Gladwell would probably say I'm an expert because that's way over 10,000 hours, but no two crews are the same. No two teams are the exact same people. So, I mean, certainly I'm no expert, but I think I can speak to it. Anyway, so I've just got a couple points I want to throw out this morning. First of all, I see a lot of people, hear about a lot of people leading from their position of authority rather than earning the respect to essentially tell people what to do, right? So a long time ago, I worked in a quick lane oil change place here in town, and we had a boss who, whenever we got bored or we were slow, we had some time to kill, he would ask us to sweep, take out the trash, just basically housekeeping, busy work, something to do so we're not just standing around milking the clock, which I get. The problem was anytime he would ask us or tell us to do that, he would stand there and watch us do it or play on the computer. And while he had every right to do that, because technically we were his people, like he was our boss, it just sets a bad precedent. And so fast forward to my time at the moving company, my crew worked very hard, and they worked way harder than I was working, and they knew that. Because they're out moving pianos and stuff, and most days, this was about the heaviest thing I would lift. But I think I went far to earn their respect, because when they would have an issue that would come up in the field, whether it was moving a piano upstairs or moving a couch through a really awkward doorway or something, they knew that they could call me. And though I might not be like super excited about going out and moving a piano upstairs, I was willing to do it. I was willing to go out there and get my hands dirty and prove that I hadn't totally forgot where I came from. So, I think there's a lot to be said for just picking up a broom once in a while and sweeping and showing your team that you're not afraid to do it. You're not above it. Another point, and one of the biggest learning experiences I had in my time at that moving company was one day we had a newer manager. He'd been around for a while, but we just promoted him into the office. And though he wasn't my direct report, I don't like saying that. It just kind of fits sometimes. Not like employees either. But anyway, he was kind of under my supervision because he was new, and I had been around long enough that I just knew his job inside and out. So he came to me with an issue that had come up that day, and it was kind of a pretty serious snafu. And he explained the situation, and I kind of immediately got upset. Like, okay, man, this shouldn't have happened because of X, Y, Z reasons. Like this should have been avoided. You should have been more proactive. And my bias to action kicked me in the butt, because he was normally a passive guy, but for some reason in this instance, he dug in and he stood his ground and he said, no, I did all of that. I did everything that I possibly could to avoid this situation. It happened because, whatever reasons. And, your first instinct when you get challenged like that is to get upset, right? Like, this guy's proven me wrong. I don't think so. But I had to take a second and think about it and realize, no, he's right and I'm wrong. And so I apologized. I said, you know what, man, I came in a little too hot, and you're absolutely right. You did a great job. And so we worked together to resolve the situation. And I just remember on my way back to my office after it was over and done with, this is super pretentious, but I kind of felt like a proud dad. Like this guy, because he's kind of under my wing anyway, and the way he stood up to me and challenged me, even though I was wrong, he earned more of my respect that day than in all of the years that we worked together previously. And it was amazing. So, just because somebody challenges you doesn't mean they're wrong. And I think that's very important to remember. And that kind of leads me into my last point. I don't know how I'm doing on time. I'm getting close. Okay. So, tying into that, getting feedback and asking for input from your crew, I find extraordinarily helpful as well. And, in one instance where I dropped the ball, I had a guy that worked for the moving company that he was like college educated. He had a ton of experience in sales and stuff. He was just kind of a rock star all around. I was actually I always wondered why he decided to be a mover for a while. But he had given me input here and there. I always appreciated it because, again, he was a super smart guy. But one day he just came into my office and laid down a binder on my desk and said, here's this that I put together. This is how you should be running your Wednesday morning safety meetings. And basically he was telling me, here, you suck. This is way better. I can do a better job at this than you can, and laid it in front of me. And I will argue that he kind of went about it maybe a little bit wrong. But anyway, the moral of the story is I just passed it off. I accepted it. At that moment, I was like, thanks, man. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. This looks awesome. But as soon as he left my office, threw it in a drawer and never looked at it again. And that was wrong for a few different reasons. First of all, I basically lied to the guy and said, "Oh yeah, I'll take it into consideration." But now looking back on it, and this was, fairly early in my tenure there as in management, looking back, from what I can remember of this binder, he actually had a lot of good stuff in there, and it would have made my meetings better. It would have made them, more efficient, and there's just a lot of good stuff that I blew off. I just threw it in a drawer because of my pride, and I just said, "No, dude, I do this. You don't. I'm better than you at this," for some reason, and I think I kind of lost out. So, I'm totally not, immune to being a crappy boss either. So, yeah, I think that's it. That's kind of right at my 10 minutes. So I'd be more than willing to talk to anybody or answer any questions.
Josh, what do you find has been your biggest hurdle to changing how you lead?
Oh, my stupid pride, probably. In situations like that last one where, it's just sometimes you got to eat crow. And that's not easy. That's not automatic. That's not built into us. The opposite is built into us. And just realizing that most people will have a better idea than you at some point about something you know a lot about. And just realizing that and understanding that, I don't know everything.
So been going through this leadership summit, and the speaker I was listening to just before I came on and we started this meeting, he said they call it HOT, humble, open, and transparent. And I think that like you just said that, you be open, be open to people's ideas, to different ways of looking things, other people's perspectives. When you were challenged, like you said, it's not our human nature to just say, "Oh, okay, great, you're challenging me. That's all right. Let's figure out why." No, it's like your pride kicks in, and you're like, "No, this is how we do it." But being humble, knowing that you don't know everything, being open to other people's perspectives, ideas. That's where you're going to grow the most. And then being transparent. And you said that you apologized. That takes some transparency there too, and the humbleness to apologize for not listening. But no, that was good. Is anyone having any other questions?
As you've transitioned into your new role, what are the biggest takeaways that you're applying in terms of your leadership skills right now?
Well, the biggest takeaways that I'm applying to what I'm doing now, I think the openness is probably, and especially leaning into what Aaron just said, because as it is, our technicians are not employees of our company. That's not our model. That's not how we're set up. So it's almost more important that we're open and transparent with them, because we want to build a relationship of openness, even though they don't necessarily work for us. We want to make sure that they are comfortable coming to us and asking us questions, coming to us for support, even though I guess we don't. If you get real crappy about it, we don't really owe it to them, but we want to show them that we are. And there's just a little bit of a disconnect there because they're a contractor rather than an employee. And so I'm really focusing on creating that kind of a relationship.
Good stuff. Well, we're at the end of our time here. Josh, thanks for sharing.
Thanks, Josh.
That was some good
Hey,
stuff.
Josh.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't have a question. I just wanted to thank you for not saying my name when you were going through your list of bad bosses.
You were both of those bosses.
Awesome.
Anyway,
Awesome.
well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Aaron,
Thank you.
so
Yeah,
much.
thank
for
you
having
very
me.
much, Josh.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Josh.
So
You
don't
bet.
miss
Thanks
next
for
week.
listening.
Derek's gonna be pumping us up with some truth bombs, right?
You got it. I think still trying to land on the subject, but I'm leaning right now towards communication and the importance and how it's different, and should be fun.
That's awesome. Well, we look
Yeah.
forward to seeing you next week, and thank you guys. Have a great rest of your Friday, and have a great weekend.
You too.
You bet.
All right. See ya.
Thanks, Aaron.